Hello, it's Molly Reamer with Bridget's Grove and 30 Days of Goddess, and this is a video welcome for our November practice. And today I am out in the Bridget's Grove studio building, which is why the light is a little bit funky across my face and why there's a whole bunch of tubs and things behind me, because this is where we do all of our work and pack all of our orders and get everything ready for you. That's what's going on. And I do make these videos using my webcam, which I know is not the greatest of resolution, but I have rural internet where I am, and uploading videos to YouTube is challenging at best, and they upload way better in the low resolution from my webcam than they do using my phone, which can take me hours to even get a 4-minute video uploaded. So I know that the quality isn't the greatest, and I'm going to accept it, and we're going to take what we can get from given the limitations of where we are. So anyway, welcome to 30 Days of Goddess for November, and I want to give you a brief little overview of the practice itself, an explanation of the types of tools that I offer, and some suggestions and encouragement for your practice. But first, let's go ahead and take a deep breath. So welcome. Go ahead and bring yourself here to where you are. So feel yourself in your body, feet on the earth, heart beating, eyes open or closed as you wish. But here we are together in this space, in this way. So a nice deep breath and letting yourself kind of settle within, letting yourself kind of return to center, come home to yourself. I'm going to go ahead and read a little prayer from our little prayer decks. And the one we got is just randomly picked is, may you grant yourself endless moments of joy, and may you delight in the revolutionary act of noticing. So thank you for being here and sharing some space with me today. And so this video is intended to be useful to you, whether or not you are just coming to 30 Days of Goddess or whether you've been here since the beginning. We are hitting our 300-day mark with 30 Days of Goddess. So this practice began in January 1st, and here we are at the cusp of November, and so we have hit the 300-day mark in 30 Days of Goddess. I've said before that 30 Days of Goddess could very well be called Goddess Every Day or 365 Days of Goddess, because really it is a metaphor for daily practice, for showing up for your life. And one of the things I really wanted to emphasize this month is that daily practice is your life. So maybe 30 Days of Goddess feels, rigid or confining, or I don't want to have to work on this prayer book every day, or I don't want to have to live up to somebody else's idea of what a daily practice is. But daily practice is your life, no matter what. So whether you have a focused and intentional daily practice or you don't, still you have your life, and you have the way you show up in your life. You have the things that you do every day. So daily practice is your life. 30 Days of Goddess is intended to be a flexible, open-ended, nourishing container to encourage, enrich, and inspire you in creating daily devotional practices that work for you. So how daily practice looks for you can be different than how it looks for someone else. Daily practice is infinitely flexible and variable. So your daily practice may look different from day to day, but the idea really is about creating this container for the sacred, creating space for yourself in your own life, showing up for your life as it is, and showing up in presence, in connection, breathing the breath of the sacred, touching into the pulse of the holy, and being present with your life, being present in this moment, and with a goddess spin, with a goddess twist, with a goddess element to it. My area of focus and love is in goddess-centered daily practice. Your focus and love may be different. Maybe you connect to a more broader, generic sense of the sacred. Maybe you look at source energy. Maybe you tap into the universe. Maybe you just want to be present in the world. So I have this goddess flavor on daily practice, but it can really accommodate anybody with a lot of different backgrounds and a lot of different approaches to working with the sacred. And so anyway, 30 Days of Goddess is about creating nourishing, sustainable, supportive daily devotional practices in your life. And to that end, I have created multiple types of resources to support you in that way. You can mix and match and combine them in the way that works for you. 30 Days of Goddess is meant to be able to be integrated with the other tools that you like to use. So, other teachers that you learn from, books that you like reading, decks that you like using, etc. It's about creating this container, this portable sacred space in the way that fits your life and that holds and loves and encourages and nourishes you. And so to that end, we have several things that we create. One of my goals with 30 Days of Goddess is to have it be accessible to people kind of without having to ever buy anything from me. So you will always have access to starter resources, and you can always print out your own book and sew it together. And you can always print out anything else that I provide and use those things that I print for free. I also have some products that I make available that you can buy. And so these are all the tools that like support the 30 Days of Goddess practice. So one is our prayer books, our monthly prayer books that are spiral bound. They have space to write or create art or draw or glue things in each day. And then they have a blank page for more creation. They have tiny cards in the back and cut outable stickers, so to speak, images. And then they also have prayer cards in the back that can be cut out and used. So these were created to be very grab and go. So if you don't have anything else, you just have your little book, you can cut pieces out, and you have to have a pen too, but you can cut pieces out and you glue it together and you have kind of a grab and go practice right there. So the book becomes in some ways not exactly the heart of the practice, it's the container for whatever it is. So you can write on your page if you're reading a certain book, or you're studying with a certain oracle card deck, or you're listening to a certain podcast, or you're reading something, whatever it is, that can all come together on this page. You can integrate all those things into one place. So the book becomes this portable sacred space, this container for experiencing in a wide variety of ways. I use it for daily, excuse me, hair in my mouth. I use it for daily writing practice. So I write a prayer, a blessing, an affirmation, or a poem every day. That's not what you have to do. You're welcome to glue in other things, art, collage, things that I've written that you've printed out, things that you've cut out from the back of the book to glue in, reminders from other teachers or emails or things that you're learning about, oracle cards, whatever, you can put those into your book. It's just it's the holding place for it. So my October book is here in progress, and it looks different every day. One of the things I wanted to point out this time is, your art page and your writing page don't necessarily have to sync up in terms of theme. Like you can create, I just do it very spontaneously. It's very intuitive, very interest-led, energy-led, just what I want to do, what feels right to me in that moment. And I trust that. That's something that I feel like 30 Days of Goddess helps us hone, is both being alert to the magical elements of life that surround us, but also trusting our own unfolding, trusting our own intuition, trusting our own guidance, trusting like signs and symbols and experiences to hold meaning and to hold magic. And then we put it all together into this little space. But the book itself is not 30 Days of Goddess. The 30 Days of Goddess is daily practice, and it's that coming back to center in yourself. And then the book is an expression of what you've learned, discovered, uncovered, unfolded, experienced, etc. And so that's what we got going on here. And then I do make available a logbook format. So if the big book feels like too much, I have a logbook format that has either 3 or 6 little segments per page. This one is the one that has 3, and then it has space for art. So you don't have to do art every day. And the other thing I wanted to point out is that if you do art every day, it can look very different. Like it can be simple one day. I spent the day that I'm making this video, I was kind of fragmented and had a lot of stuff going on. And so I basically just used a bunch of stickers and like blobbed them all over. And then I did make a little note out of a t-shirt tag, and I put a little prayer reminder on the back and stuck it in. But this page, took me only about, probably 5 minutes, maybe possibly 10, but I was working with kids at the same time. So something like that, because I did have to cut things out. But basically I just like stuck things down. It can be as lengthy or as simple as you want it to be. And so to that end, one of the other things I offer to that end is lots of printables. So my patrons at Patreon, which is patreon.com/Bridget'sGrove, get access to any printable I make, and I make a new batch of prayer cards and things like that for every month. So in addition to this video, they will have a whole set of 30 new prayer cards and different stickers and little tiny affirmation cards and things like that to use in their prayer book. And they'll also have access to the November specific PDF files to print out to make their own journal, as well as the option to buy the books. But I also have a little starter pack that's free and available to anybody that has some of the little cards, some of the stickers, and some of the prayers. And then those are available for other months as well. So you can go backwards and post. This is intended to be like, even if you've never done this before, you can start right now and you don't have to go backwards. But if you want to go backwards, there's other things to print and other stuff to access if you do go backwards. And so those cards can be cut up like that. And then you can just draw one out every day, and you can glue it on your page. You don't have to write anything new. You don't have to create amazing artworks. You can just stick the little note on the page. I often make pockets out of them and I stick other things into the pocket, but you can do what you want. And then likewise, I make other printables for other reasons. So for example, I'm doing a Living the Questions free class this year, and I make journal cards that come out every month for the Living the Questions class. Those can be printed out and glued into your prayer book as well, or used as journal prompts, or even used kind of as almost not like kind of like divination. That's sort of how these are too. You can pick one. A very simple practice that still counts as 30 Days of Goddess is to print the little cards out, draw one, put your hand on your heart, say, Goddess, guide me, and then read the prayer out loud. And that can be it. I still consider that to be participating in a 30 Days of Goddess practice. Then if you want, you could glue the note down into your book, but you could also carry it with you through the day. You could put it on your computer. You could fold it up and make it into a tiny little book. You can stick it into an existing planner or journal that you already have, etc. But Goddess, guide me. May I be present in this day with my life with deepest purpose and conscious intent. Ta-da! There, you did it. Daily practice. Little container for the sacred. A little touch of the holy. A little reaching up to the hand of the goddess in yours. So there's those. And then, like I said, the tiny cards. Oh, sorry. Living the Question stuff. That, if you go, I will link to that below. But if you go to the archive of the newsletters, you'll be able to go backwards and get any of the cards from any of the previous months that way. And that'll give you tons of stuff to work with. So I have done these books before, literally just based on those printables that I've created. And then other things, things snipped out of magazines, or I get art mail from a couple of people that I'm a patron of on Patreon, and I'll stick the art mail in, I get some stickers, etc. But it's fully possible to create a really enriching and rewarding journal space without necessarily ever writing anything new. You can jot down quotes that you like, etc. And I'll show you some other ideas in a minute. But then there's also the tiny little cards. The tiny little cards are sized so they fit in the boxes at the bottom of the pages. You can either use those boxes to write new stuff, stick a sticker, whatever, or you can use my little tiny printables and stick a little reminder to yourself in there. But you can create a really nice, fulfilling page without being pressured to create from scratch, because there's lots of stuff available to you. I do have the simple logbook format with the 3 boxes per page and a blank page for art. Those are on order. They came printed incorrectly with the wrong cover and first, so they are on order and will be coming, and I'll have them in the shop soon, which is bridgetgrove.etsy.com. And that simple logbook format actually includes 3 months worth of pages in one book. So if these prayer books seem like too much or they seem too overwhelming to you, then you might like the logbook version better. Again, there's a free printable version, or you can have you can purchase a copy when it's in the Etsy shop. So one of the other things I was going to mention as far as ideas for practice is you can have a particular book that you work through in a month. So for example, the Goddess Companion book or any other book that you want. And then each day, instead of writing a new prayer or a new blessing on your little box where you write, you can copy down your favorite quote and insight, etc. Likewise, you can write down, you can have if you have a deck that you like to use, you can write observations from your Oracle deck that you would like to use in that box. You can write down dreams, etc., things that you've noticed, stuff you're thinking about, affirmations, etc. So as far as tools that I offer, we also have our Woman Runes deck. There's a free introductory class for Woman Runes available as well, but you can, choose runes for the day and use those in your journal. And I also have the 30 Days of Goddess Companion deck, which comes in this 10 case and then is it's 3 decks in one in that case. And so there are prompts, prayers, and practices based on the first. I first offered this in January, and this is the professionally printed version of what I first offered. And so for the prompts, prayers, and practices, it's subdivided into 3 little decks. And so you'd pick a word for the day, you'd pick a practice for the day, and then you'd pick a prayer for the day. And then combined, they make a little mini ritual. So you'd have your affirmation that goes with your word or your thought that goes with that. You'd have your little brief practice to do, and then you have your practice to do, and then you'd have your prayer to read aloud. And that's it. This can be a 1 to 5 minute ritual that kind of centers you into presence, that touches you into that core of the sacred, that links you up to that hunger in your bones that says, I need more of this. I need more connection. I need more time. I need space for myself in my own life. I want to feel the hand of the goddess at work in my life. Where is that? So these things can help you feel that. And you can print them as well from the other previously available printables and then make your own little deck that you draw from. So again, really great if people want to buy things from me, but you can have a very fulfilling practice without ever buying anything from me. That's part of my mission, so to speak, is to make these goddess-centered practice resources and tools available to anybody, because I feel like we all deserve that sensation of our feet on temple ground and that trust in the sacred space we carry within. One of the things I say is that, you are your own sacred space. Your feet are always on temple ground, but, your body is an altar. Your life is a living prayer. Your life is a living prayer. And so, may it be a strong one, may it be a loving one, may it be a powerful one, because that's what you are. You're a living prayer here on 2 legs. So, and then also I do publish 2 companion devotional books, Whole and Holy and the Goddess Devotional. And either one of these, you may want to use those as a daily reader. So just open it up and you're like, here's a prayer called Wild Alone. And then you can open up your prayer book and you might jot some favorite lines from that poem on the line, glue your little card down, glue your other card here and make a pocket, stick in a business card that you picked up that day, or a feather, or a, what else would you stick in there? oh, a little note that you wrote to yourself, whatever, stick it in there, and then there you go. You've got your practice. You've kept your date with the sacred. And one of the things that I love about this portable sacred space thing is it literally, these can go with you anywhere, whether you have a purchased one or whether you sewed it yourself or stapled it yourself. They can go with you kind of anywhere. My oldest son took the ACT this month, and what did I do? I had my prayer book in the car while I waited for him, and I actually wrote a whole blessing while I was sitting there. I glued stuff down, I cut things out, I made a tiny book and stuck it in my pocket. And so there's a sense of it. I feel like we always carry sacred space within us, but having something to hold on to then reminds us in this tangible, tactile way of that connection to the sacred. So it's your portable sacred space, reminds you of what you carry within and what's around you, surrounding you all the time. So you have like, it's a touchstone, a thing to check back in with. And yeah, it's a container for experiencing a sacred space. And I just realized I said I was going to explain what this is, and I did kind of, but essentially at the very end of last year, I woke up in the morning with this idea, basically said, 30 days of goddess, like you got to do this. And I had a list of 30 words and the idea that there would be a prayer book to accompany you, a self-created prayer book to accompany you on this journey of developing a daily practice that fits your life and of checking in with the goddess in your life, in the world, dropping into your heart space, settling back into center. And I called it 30 Days of Goddess, thinking this is about daily practice, about showing up every day and seeing what you learn, discover, and experience, and trusting that the magic will be there, trusting that the sacred will be there, trusting that you'll be carried on your way, that something will happen to enchant you. And so I had intended for that to be a January based practice every day of January, with the cards and the prayers and all that kind of stuff. And then basically I've kept going since then. So now here we are at 300 days in, and truly we're looking at 365 days of goddess and goddess every day. And so whether or not you've been with us from the beginning or you're just touching in for this month, or whether you kept a prayer book in June and now you're back and you're going to do one in November, there is a place for you and you belong. There is no behind, there is no right way. There is only your life as you live it, and these resources and practices to help you make that life a beautiful, nourished, and connected one, and one in which you feel centered into presence, centered into the sacred, and aware of the connection that is always with you in every day. So, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for taking part. Thank you for participating. And thank you for sharing your creations and for walking this path with me in as you move through your days. So I will close with a prayer from the companion deck, I believe. Let me see if I can grab one real quick. And there we go. Okay, so a little prayer from the companion deck to close. But again, go ahead and put a hand on your heart. Take a deep breath and settle into where you are, bringing yourself into center. And we can have this time each day. We can have this time each day where we feel whole and holy, present, centered, settled, engaged, alert, aware. Paradoxically, I find that by settling inward, we then can cast our attention outward more thoroughly to really see where we are, to really become present with reality, the magic of the day as it unfolds. We have to first settle in, and then we can look out. So, little prayer. May I look for knots to untie, bonds to loosen, chains to break, and change to make. May I look for opportunities to liberate myself. May I look to softness. May I look to stillness. May I look to gentleness. May I look to peace. Thank you so much for being here and enjoy a 30 days of Goddess